On both sides of the aisle will press on tonight with their charity baseball game. Joining us now, Democratic Congressman Gregory Meeks and Republican Congresswoman Claudia Tenney, both from the great state of New York. Nice to have you here. So look, you are sitting here together, Democrat and Republican, on a day when we need to see a lot more of that, and frankly, for a nation that needs to see a lot more of it moving forward. Is this a moment of change, Congresswoman?
I think it is, and actually I'd like to point out something really important that me and our freshman class did. We signed a commitment to civility on February 14th of all days, Valentine's Day, and as our freshman class we got together in our orientation and thought we should do that. And in that commitment to civility, we agreed that we would include our Democratic colleagues and vice versa on bills and resolutions and stick together. And in fact, tonight I am going to be attending the game with Congressman Brad Schneider, who also has a son who's deployed. My son is deployed as a Marine, and his son is deployed as a Navy officer. So we're both, very close, and we're sponsoring legislation together. So there is an effort to do this, and I think that Congressman Meeks would agree. I mean, he's been here longer than I am. He's sort of the dean of our delegation almost, so I'm new, and I think that's something that we've committed to right off the bat.
And it's great to see, you both here today together. So thank you both for being here. Congressman Meeks, you have been at this longer, at least up here on Capitol Hill. You were around when Gabby Giffords was shot in Arizona. After that, there was this same sort of talk. Everyone needs to come together. We need to try to tone down some of the rhetoric. You know, you can disagree without being disagreeable, as it were. Didn't last. How do you make it last this time?
Well, let me tell you, I think that the untold story is that we all fiery when we're on the floor. We all fiery sometimes on talk shows, etc. But you would be surprised at the relationships that we do have.
Why are we surprised, though? Why do we need to be surprised?
Well,
why can't we see it more?
I think that, unfortunately, the atmosphere of which we're in, the climate of which we're in, combativeness is what is the
But respectfully, isn't it incumbent, Congresswoman, on both of you to create that environment? I mean, you're setting the example, an example at least, for the American people.
Yeah, and I think we've done that as a freshman class. We recognize that there's been a lot of angst. And look, I come from a district where I've never even been endorsed by my local Republican Party. I've had, in any race I've ever won, I served 3 terms in the state assembly. I'm now serving in Congress. I mean, I'm not the person that came in on a gilded path with the establishment. I've had to fight my way on both sides. So I understand being an independent and having to reach out to both sides and understand that there are compromises we can make. And I've done that as a new member of Congress. We have bills that we're working on together. Congressman Meeks and I are working on a flood insurance package today in our Financial Services Committee meeting. There's a lot of things that we have in common and that we're trying to bring together. Sometimes I think, with all due respect, sometimes the media likes to find things that are exciting to find fault with us and find where we are divided and not where we're unified. I thought yesterday's message between Speaker Ryan and Leader Pelosi was a really good message. It said it's up to us. We need to lead the way. We need to stick together. Any kind of act against any one of us is an act against all of us, and I thought that was a great message. And I thought both of them stood together and proved it.
People forget that, for example, not too long ago, the State of the Union address, we had what we call date night, and we had Democrats sitting on the Republican side,
and
Republicans sitting on the Democratic
The dates
side.
aren't happening right now.
But even if you look at with reference to bills, as several Republicans, we're talking about bills that we can work on together. The bills that are controversial are the bills that are reported on. You're talking about traveling together. We were just talking about travel, and she was saying, oh, this one member or another member, I got to know him personally more than I did before, so we get to know one another in that aspects. If you just come and you see members in the members' gym, they're talking together.
Let's go to the heart of this.
So go ahead.
The softball team. I'm a member of the women's softball team, which is a co-ed team. We're not the Democrats playing the Republicans. We play the news media.
Yeah, thank goodness. The real enemy here.
Exactly. So we're going to trash talk you guys a little bit and make sure that we win that game.
And just one bit of business. You had a practice this morning.
Yes, we did have our
more
practice.
Security?
We had more security. Everything went off very well, and we've had security in the past, not very much, but we had more today. I have to tell you, there was a lot of warmth today at the game. We were you know, it was a scrimmage, it was a practice, and we all worked together. And I think it's a great opportunity for me to get to know other members, not just Democrats, but also members of the Senate.
I love the outreach, and I love how you guys say it goes on without us noticing. But I also think, you know, we'd be remiss not to point out what is happening in plain sight.
I was just going to say, the picture you're painting, we applauded. I can tell you it's not the picture the American people see or feel.
But I think you need to paint that picture. I think it's now we're doing
it's
it.
actually not on us to
once
paint
in a
the picture.
while, but you're the media. You report.
We play what you guys are saying.
Fourth Estate. I used to run a newspaper and a media business. I know it's very important to present all sides. You certainly should show the discord, but you also should show when we're working together and coming out with bipartisan
Sometimes
bills
that's not
and initiatives.
news. Look, it is on the floor. We're going to debate bills, and I'm going to state my position. And I expect my Republican colleagues to take their position, and we're going to debate, and we're going to debate hard. But once we're off the floor, many of them, you know, we get together, we talk, and we joke about, you know, family and talk about family.
And again,
that's not going to stop.
I'm pointing to one example because it just happened moments ago with Donald Trump on Twitter, talking about the special counsel, saying the investigation is being led by very bad people, which is different than saying, I don't agree with the special counsel, or he's not doing a good job, but very bad people.
It's attacking the person.
Well, I think that's what we have to avoid. I think we should not do that. I think that I think my Republican colleagues are wishing that Donald Trump stops tweeting, you know, because that's bad for everybody when you have that kind of flavor.
I don't think that any one side has a monopoly on who takes personal attacks, and that's something me as a member of Congress have been very careful not to do. It's all about ideas. It's about, as Congressman Meeks said, this is about an exchange, about us zealously presenting our position. A robust debate is conceived by our founders. That's something we're doing. I think the step that we can take, and I think the step that Leader Pelosi and Speaker Ryan said was, as Congress members, let's lead the way in making sure that the people know that, yes, you can disagree, but we can walk away respectfully. And quite honestly, I think sometimes as lawyers, we're used to that. We're used to the combative field of the courtroom, and we don't take it personally. And I think right now it's good to debate. We get excited, as Congressman said. We have some pretty heated debates in our Financial Services Committee, but in the end, you know, we want to come to a compromise. We want to come to something that will help the people in our communities. And I think that you can find everyone is doing that.
Well, listen, Congressman Meeks, Congresswoman Tenney, thank you for coming here. Thank you for coming here together. You know, this is something we can all be more civil on a daily basis.
On this show, we appreciate it.
Yeah, he's on my committee with me.
You saw a hug. We just saw a bipartisan hug here.
We hug all the time.
And guess who covered that hug live on CNN?
Live on CNN.
The media. Thank you, guys.
New Yorkers, we stick together.
Very much. We appreciate it.